All right, let's go. It is showtime. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Once again, my name is Travis Flaherty, and what you can expect tonight is to learn a little bit more about the world of cryptocurrency. What a crazy time it is to be involved. What a crazy, fun, and exciting time that it is to be involved in this space. You know, my hope tonight is that you'll come away with this presentation learning a little bit more about the foundation of cryptocurrency, where it first started. We're going to talk about the people that are getting involved in cryptocurrency and how it's impacting the world today. We're also going to dive into some different strategies that crypto experts are using to capitalize on the digital currency trends that are taking place right now. We're also going to be talking about crypto mining, which is my favorite, and how crypto mining has become such a profitable business and why it is the lifeblood of the entire blockchain. And finally, we're going to talk about how you can start educating yourself to better position you to capitalize on all of these trends that are currently taking place right now. Now, before we get started, I want to just protect the house. I want to throw this out there. I'm not a financial advisor. Anytime that you invest into the stock market, if it's the cryptocurrency markets, Forex markets, there's always risk. So never put any money that you can't afford to lose into these markets. And of course, past performance is not indicative of future performance as well. So there is risk here. Everything that I'm sharing with you tonight is just my opinion. There are no guarantees at all. So with that, let's go ahead and jump right in. First of all, I want to introduce you to the company just to give you a little snapshot of who we are. We're a 4-year-old company that's been growing month after month, year after year. We're doing business in over 50 countries around the world. We're in the process right now of rebranding and relaunching the company. Now, why would we do that? You know, about 4 years ago, my partners and I came together and we worked on a rebrand for one of the most successful and well-known companies in the network marketing industry. And at one time, I mean, they were the fastest company to $1 billion. And, you know, as things settled down, every product has a life cycle. They were in need just for something new, something fresh. And we successfully changed everything from the culture, the products, the compensation plan, attracted new field leadership. And that company went on to become very relevant and eventually get bought out by one of the most successful companies in network marketing today. And we're doing the exact same thing right now. Wealth Generators is a great company. They've been in the financial literacy and education space. The owners have been in financial education for the last 20 years. But we see an opportunity right now in the cryptocurrency markets, in the cryptocurrency space, especially with network marketing. You know, cryptocurrency MLM, it's kind of like the wild, wild west right now. You know, anytime that you have FOMO or fear of missing out, something that's so hot, you get a lot of people that come to the table that maybe aren't doing things ethically. And I would dare say that a large majority of the companies that are operating in the crypto mining space in the network marketing industry are operating in the gray area at best. And so what we see is an opportunity to be a lighthouse in this space. And so what we are doing is we're rebranding Wealth Generators, which is great because we get the foundation of a company that's been around. They have an excellent infrastructure, customer support team, and yet we get the excitement of something that is just launching. You know, one of the things that we're very proud of is we are the only publicly traded company in all of North America that offers mining solutions. What does that mean? Well, when you're publicly traded, number one, you have to register with the SEC. Number two, you know, when you're publicly traded, everything is transparent. All of the transactions are documented on the ledger. And that's a big step in the right direction. Again, when you're playing in an industry that has been somewhat shady for the last year, and all of a sudden you come up with a publicly traded company that's doing things the right way. So we're very proud of that. We provide crypto education. Right now there is a big demand. Let's just say that. Anytime you go and ask somebody, what do you know about cryptocurrency? Usually the response is, you mean Bitcoin? Or, you know, I just started to put a little bit of money into it just to dabble a little bit. But most people are scrambling to now catch up because they realize how hot it is and they want to learn more. So we're filling that gap. We're also providing state-of-the-art mining equipment. So we're going to be talking a little bit more about that tonight. We provide proof of mining, which is one of the biggest differentiators between our company and most of the companies that are out there in this space. Again, we'll get into this a little bit more tonight. We do not provide any guarantees. If you see a company that's offering guarantees, and there's companies out there, you see them, you know, they offer the 1% daily returns, these type of things. I would tell you to turn and run, because those companies are illegal. You cannot offer a guarantee in the network marketing or financial services industry. We're not pulling funds, which is a huge deal. A lot of these companies that are out there right now are getting shut down. And the reason why they're getting shut down is because when you buy into a mining contract, you're essentially buying into a pool. And what happens is this equipment goes out and it mines, and then they take all of the proceeds from the mining equipment, they put it into a pool, and then they pay dividends out of that pool. Well, the problem with that is anytime that you pull funds, it becomes a security. And so these companies are out there promoting or marketing securities, and they don't have financial service licenses. And so we don't pull any funds. In fact, we're the only company that I know of in the entire industry that has a one-to-one customer to product ratio, customer to server ratio, which means that every time a new customer comes in the door, they get assigned an actual server, and that is their server for the life of that equipment. And when the term is over, they actually get a video card that shows all of the proceeds that came from their individual equipment, which is a big, big deal. So no guarantees, no pulling funds. And here's another one. We deposit directly into your coin wallet. And when I say we have actually joint ventured with one of the largest mining companies in the world. They do over $1 billion per year in mining. They have facilities in Hong Kong, China, Iceland, Romania. What's neat is all of Romania is allocated specifically to Kuvera's mining. And what's really neat about that is all we do is facilitate the mining contract. We help facilitate it for or on the behalf of the mining company. But the mining company, get this, deposits directly to you in your coin wallet every day, which means we never touch your money. There's so many, and then again, we're the only company that I know of in this space that's doing that. There's so many companies that are out there right now that are paying you, but they're paying you directly out of their commissions account. So number one, the question that I would ask is, are they really mining? Because if they're really mining, to me, it's a little bit safer to have that money come directly from the mining company directly into your coin wallet. Why? Because with us, if we were to ever get shut down or we were to ever to go out of business, guess what? You still get paid because you still have a contract directly with the mining company. I had some friends that were with some very well-known, very popular mining companies over the course of the last year, and those companies were just shut down here in the United States. And unfortunately, my friends, their money got locked up in those companies, and they don't know if they'll ever get it back. So again, anytime that you are looking at companies in this space, I would ask, are they pulling? Number one. Number two, is there proof of mining? Number three, do they deposit directly to your coin wallet, or is it the actual network marketing company that's paying you? Because what's happening is right now there's a lot of companies that are promoting that they're mining, but really what they're doing is they're just taking the new money coming in the door and paying the old money. And we have a word for that. It's called a Ponzi scheme. We're headquartered in Salt Lake City, Utah, beautiful offices there as well. So let's dive right in. So what are people saying about cryptocurrency? Well, if you start researching a lot of the thought leaders, the people that are really impacting the world today, making a difference, they're saying that digital currency is the future. Bill Gates says it perfectly right here. Richard Branson, Virgin Airlines, was just hosting 20 of the most brilliant minds in the cryptocurrency space to talk about cryptocurrency and its future. So let's go all the way back to the beginning. Let's go back to where it all started. Bitcoin was born back in 2008, and it was the first decentralized currency. So what do we mean when we say decentralized? What we're talking about is no one controls it. So think about who controls the money here in the United States. If you're from here, it's the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve, we give so much trust to the Federal Reserve, to these banks, to these central authorities with our money. They have complete control over it as to what amount of money needs to be printed, what amount of money needs to be circulated. And in most cases, there's nothing transparent or federal about these secretive central authorities. So cryptocurrency is this idea that we can take back power and control of our own money and that we can transact in a much better way. I'll give you an example. So let's say that I decided I wanted to send $100,000 to my good friend Jo Bell. It's her lucky day. I'm going to send her $100,000, but Joe's in Canada. So let me ask you a question. If I were to send that $100,000 in a wire, would Jo have that money tonight? Would she have that money probably by the morning? No, she wouldn't. Why? Because it's going to have to go through a number of regulatory agencies. And here's what's interesting. Every time it goes through one of those agencies, do you think that they have their hand in the pocket? You think they're taking a little bit of money out of it? Absolutely they are. And then you've got these currency exchanges. And I don't know if you guys have ever sent money internationally before, but there's something called the gap where money just kind of disappears when you transfer one currency to another currency. And somehow or another, money seems to disappear all the time in that process. So let me give you a different example. With cryptocurrency, I could send my good friend, Joe Bell, I could send her that same $100,000 in Bitcoin, and guess what? It would be in her wallet in maybe 15 minutes. That's the difference. And that's what's so attractive about cryptocurrency. So it provides us with a currency and a payment network that we can control ourselves, and we don't have to rely on any single entity to create or to help us transact. Now, you have something called the blockchain. Sounds like something that should go under the hood of your car. The blockchain is actually a ledger that documents every single transaction that takes place. It's all about transparency. And, you know, my personal opinion, after studying cryptocurrency and now teaching cryptocurrency, and that's really what we do, is we educate, we teach, and we inform, and we help people to put themselves in a better position so that they can go out and start capitalizing on what's happening here. My personal opinion is cryptocurrency is here to stay. It's cheaper, it's faster, it's much cleaner, it's free of government oversight, at least for right now, and it gives you ultimate control over your money. And especially right now, if you look at what's happening, the people that are getting involved in this space, there is no shortage of companies that are adopting cryptocurrency as a valid form of currency. I was on Craigslist the other day, posted an ad on Craigslist. First question that popped up, are you willing to accept cryptocurrency? I was on Cash App the other day. You know, there's a little green app, Cash Square, I think it's called. I send money back and forth to my children. I have 6 kids, and they're always asking me for gas money. So it's easy for me to send them money because it hits their account instant real time. And guess what? They just announced about 10 days ago that you can now buy Bitcoin directly from that app, and their stock has been skyrocketing ever since. You know, Howard Schultz was in the news a few weeks ago where he was talking about cryptocurrency, and he says, you know, I believe that digital currency is the future. And we're going to test some stores that only accept digital currency. You know, if you think about just the history, right? The history of all currency. We started off where we were trading like salts and things like this, right? And then it went to gold, and then it went to silver, and then it went to fiat currency, which is dollar bills, right? And then where did it go from there? It went to credit cards, right? It went to plastic, went to credit cards, and then where did we go? It went digital, didn't it? Because then we started to have things like Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, those type of things. It makes sense that we are progressing and moving into the digital currency era. And it also makes sense that there's a one world currency. Let's face it, at the end of the day, we are a one world economy. You know, the social media, internet, it is made the world so much smaller, and it makes sense that there's a currency that people can adopt that they can use around the world. And companies are catching on to that. So you have companies like Expedia and PayPal and Tesla. Every day, there's a new article out there. If you start just paying attention to the news, you'll see, I mean, I think it was a couple of days ago, PayPal filed a patent where they were talking about how cryptocurrency, they're bringing that into their overall business model. The day before that, it was BMW. A few days before that, it was Mercedes. So we're seeing this every single day. Now, a question that I often get asked is, well, where's the value? Like, there's nothing really, you know, that backs the value of the currency. And I said, okay, well, what backs the value of the US dollar? Because in the 70s, we removed the gold standard. So if you really want to know where the value of the US dollar or any fiat currency that you might use comes from, here's where it comes from. It comes from the fact that you're willing to accept it for a payment of goods and services. That's it. That's where the value comes from. As long as you're willing to accept it as a payment currency for an exchange of goods or services, that's where the value comes from. So if that's the case, and all of these companies that we all know are saying, we'll take cryptocurrency as a valid form of payment. You can go buy cars today with cryptocurrency. You know, my good friend Ian here is a divorce attorney. He accepts cryptocurrency. So if they're willing to accept cryptocurrency, then what does that tell you about the value? Now, it's being accepted in 96 countries around the world today. You know, to put this into perspective, we have a market cap that is hovering right at around 500 billion right now. It's been as high as 800 billion in the last few months. What is that compared to, say, our US dollar? So our US dollar right now, There's about 1.5 trillion US dollars in circulation. That's incredible that we've already seen, that many experts believe that cryptocurrency could overtake the US dollar when it comes to circulation in the next couple of years. That's staggering. Companies like Coinbase, you can go and set up your own coin wallet. It's a digital coin wallet. And there's a number of different companies that are out there that are available. You've got Jax, you've got, Bittrex, you've got Coinbase, all these different companies that are out there. But this is just one of them. This is the world's most popular place to buy and sell Bitcoin. Just to put this into perspective, they have over 12 million users. Now, this was several months ago. I would guess that number has been even updated, probably well over 15 million at this point. And they're adding 50 to 100,000 people per day. That's more than a Charles Schwab brokerage account has. Even Goldman Sachs has come out and said, you know what? Cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, it's real money. And if you look at some of the wealthiest players in the world today, they're getting involved. I would ask you guys, do you recognize these two individuals right here? I'll give you a little bit of a hint. There was a movie called The Social Network, I think it was. The Social Network that documented the story of Facebook. And there were two guys, the Winklevoss brothers, that said, you know what, we've got this idea. And they came to Mark Zuckerberg to build it. And Mark Zuckerberg ran with the idea and made Facebook what it is today. But eventually, the Winklevoss brothers were paid hundreds of millions of dollars. They settled out of court. And what did they do with their money? Now, these are Harvard graduates, but they chose to put that money into the blockchain, into blockchain technology. They put it into their money and their faith in a mathematical framework that's free of politics and human error. They were even in the news today. In fact, they were quoted as saying that if you cannot vision Bitcoin climbing to, $320,000 per coin, then you lack imagination. Joe's getting a heart attack over here. Look at her. She's like, I can imagine that. I can definitely imagine that. So they started their own coin. That coin is now being traded on the NASDAQ. And let's talk about some different ways that experts, like the Winklevosses and many others, are capitalizing on what's happening right now in the space. So first of all, one strategy is called buy and hold. Now, if you ever see hold spelled HODL, it's not a mistype. It took me a few times to figure out that that's kind of their own way of spelling it. I thought somebody was spelling it wrong. But the strategy goes like this. So I had some friends of mine that almost a couple of years ago now that reached out to me about Bitcoin, and they tried to explain it to me. So he starts telling me about Bitcoin, and I said, well, is it gold or is it silver? And they're like, no, it's digital. I said, digital coin? Well, how do you even store it? He's like, in a digital wallet. I'm like, well, of course, digital wallet. And to me, I'm like, this has got to be the biggest scam in the world. And so I went the other way. But what happened? A lot of people saw the opportunity with Bitcoin. They saw the advantages and they got in very early. And what happened, they were holding that coin, and over a period of time, especially last year, that coin started to climb dramatically. I mean, at the beginning of the year, I think we weren't even at $1,000. By the midsummer, you were at $3,000, and then went all the way up to $19,000. It's come back down a little bit. So the strategy is, you can buy coin, and a lot of people don't realize that Bitcoin shares the stage with over 1,400 other altcoins. So you can buy coin and hold it, and the idea is that if the demand grows, that value starts to go up, and you're going to win just by holding it. Same thing as if you were holding gold or silver, and that's the same idea. Trading it, there's opportunity on both sides of the coin. So my friends call me now whenever the market drops. I mean, literally every day, anytime that there's a market correction or a drop, I get a call from a friend, and they say, so what do you think about cryptocurrency now? And I say, I think you should go buy it. It's on sale. And let me tell you why I say that. All markets correct. All markets fluctuate. I'll give you an example of January 2016. The stock market actually lost $1 trillion. $1 trillion just in 1 month. Why? Because of China's economy and because of oil prices. So what happened to the people that decided to get involved when it dropped? Over the next 2 years, what happened to the stock market? Those people did extremely well. And when the stock market's thriving, what are people doing? They want to get involved. So there's opportunities, but the key is educating yourself, better educating yourself so that you know how to capitalize on these trends. We have ICOs. ICOs are the old IPOs. You remember the initial public offering? Well, this is an initial coin offering. So you can go And you can invest in companies that you like. You can research the white papers. You can read all about the vision of the company. And then you can decide to put some money into the company. In many cases, you can get these coins for pennies on the dollar. And if those coins end up turning into a coin like Bitcoin or Ethereum or Litecoin or Dash or Monero or Ripple or any of these other coins that are out there, you can do pretty well. Now, I will caution you, ICOs, it has been estimated that 60% of the ICOs that are out there right now, they're not worth anything. And I will caution you even more. Not just caution you. We're going to go from a yellow flag to a red flag here. If there's an MLM company that's offering a token or a coin, my advice to you is run the other way. It's my advice. Take it or leave it. The reason why is because there's nothing like a company saying, look, we're going to try and raise as much money as we can from our distributors. Number one, you have to ask yourselves, why are they trying to raise capital? Either they don't have it, or they're trying to raise it to go get the mining equipment that they don't have, that they're telling you that they do. And number three, they're making all kinds of promises about the value of these coins. And in most cases, there's no value at all. The value is not substantiated. It's overinflated. And we're seeing Google, we're seeing Facebook respond to a lot of these ICO companies by saying, look, we're not going to allow you guys to advertise on our platforms anymore. That's not a direct aim at cryptocurrency. What it is a direct aim at the scams that are out there. So for me, if I'm going to get involved with an ICO, what I want to know is, does this somehow advance the blockchain in some way? Does it solve a problem? Is there a true need here? Or is it a company that's just trying to create a lot of hype and raise capital? So that's something that you should consider. And then we have mining. And mining, I love mining because it's one of those things that you can set it and forget it. And I'll get into that here a little bit more in just a few minutes. So what does all this mean for you with cryptocurrency? First of all, what I want you to understand is you're not late to the party. Everybody thinks that they missed the wave. The wave hasn't even come yet, you guys. Anytime that you have something that comes along that challenges the status quo, disrupts the way that we've lived our lives, there's always opposition. People hate change. Nobody, if you've been doing something the same way for a long time, we don't want to change. But you have these visionaries, these early adopters. Somebody always has to go first. Somebody has to carry the torch. They come along and say, you know what? This system's outdated. It's outdated. It doesn't make sense. And here's a better way. Here's a peer-to-peer network that we can transact, and we don't have to deal with all of these people with their hands on our money. And you know what? Some people said, that makes sense. You know what? That's a pretty good idea. And then what happened? It started to gain a little bit of momentum, started to get some money players behind it. And all of a sudden now it started to take off. And now it's going mainstream. But has it gone mainstream? Absolutely not. We're still in that early adopter stage, but we're moving into that early majority stage. I like that because sometimes you can get in so early that there's still a lot of risk there. You don't know if this is really going to take off or not. And then, of course, once you start to see it go, you're right there at the cusp of going into that serious momentum. And that's exactly where we are right now. The wealthiest cryptocurrency players have yet to get involved in this space. Now, for me personally, when I evaluate opportunities, I like proven predictable systems. I like systems that remove that human error component. And I like simple. I like to describe it as high speed, low drag. I'm not looking for opportunities that are going to require all of my time. I'm looking for a way to automate and build these income producing assets that create residual income. Now, I want to talk to you about a story that you may have heard about a farmer that had this goose that laid golden eggs. And every single day, the goose laid a golden egg. And the farmer was like, man, this is great. Every day he's getting another golden egg. He's starting to get wealthy. But what happens usually when people start making a lot of money? In some cases, the greed starts to set in. So the greed set in, and eventually this farmer, he made so much money, he ended up killing the goose. And that poses the question, what was more valuable at that point? Was the golden egg more valuable, or was the goose more valuable? Now, I'm going to come back to that question in just a moment, but I want to jump into crypto mining. First of all, what is crypto mining? What you see pictured here are racks and racks of servers. These servers, this computer equipment, this very expensive computer equipment goes out and solves mathematical equations, and they're paid. The miners are paid for solving those equations. So let's dive right in and let's kind of break it down a little bit. So first of all, when we talk about mining, we're not talking about people that are wearing hats with big flashlights and going into caves. We're talking about digital mining. here's what I want you to really understand. This is very important. Cryptocurrency mining is the lifeblood of the industry. It's the lifeblood of the industry. What do I mean by that? What I mean is the blockchain doesn't exist if we don't have crypto mining. Cryptocurrencies are not controlled by those central banks or any banking system. So it's important that we find another way to validate these transactions. The problem with that is that without having people to solve these complex mathematical equations, the blockchain would fall apart. So what they did is they said, okay, we're going to provide incentive to those who are interested in completing these transactions, and they're going to pay you in the cryptocurrency that you're validating, ultimately making cryptocurrency mining a profitable business. So if you think about it, cryptocurrency mining is the golden goose. Would you rather have the coin, or would you rather have the machine that produces the coin? Very simple. Now, the challenge with crypto mining is this. The barrier of entry is super high. I mean, it's way high. So for me to go try and get my own mining going, I would have to have, thousands, tens of thousands of dollars in some cases to go buy equipment. I would have to have the time to set it up. I had a friend of mine who set up a decent size mining rig, and it took him over 2 months to set up. So you would have to know what you're doing, which I have a hard enough time just getting my computer and everything else connected. So that I can just tell you that's not my thing. But then you've got to know how to power. You've got to power it, which it requires a tremendous amount of power. It runs really, really hot. And you've got to know what coin to go and mine, because there's different difficulty ratios with each one of these coin. And so if you don't know what you're doing, it can end up costing you. And in some cases, the power costs more than it does to go out and mine these coins. So you really have to know what you're doing. So what I like about what we do is we provide the average person with a way that they can start mining, but it's very high speed, low drag. They can set it and they can forget it. We have some of the top miners that are in the world that run your equipment. So essentially what you do is you can lease equipment for us. You go into a lease, the guarantee is 1,000 days and or the life of the equipment, whichever is longer. And in some cases, this equipment has been lasting 4 and 5 years. We say the average is about 1,200 days. But what's neat about that is these miners are running the equipment for you. They're housing the equipment for you. It's housed in places where the power is much cheaper. And here's what's really cool. We also have an algorithm that analyzes all of the different coins that are out there, and it determines which cryptocurrency that we should be mining at any given time. And the reason that's important is because it diversifies what's being mined to reduce the risk associated with mining cryptocurrency. People get confused sometimes because we talk about Ethereum because we pay out in Ethereum, but it doesn't mean we're only mining just Ethereum. We're mining multiple coin at any given time. In fact, right now, we're mining Ethereum, Ethereum Classic, Dash, and Monero. Other coins can be added, but these are the most profitable coin to mine right now. And so what I like is I've got experts that are running my equipment for me. They're managing the equipment for me. And you know what? I don't have to do anything except check my Coinbase every single day and look at that daily deposit. And that's what I love. We also have different options available. So you can lease equipment starting out at $500, $1,000, $2,500, $5,000 mining contracts that are available. And as you notice, that the mega hash rate goes up as you start to get a little bit higher. And what that essentially means is that there's more power. You have more servers that are essentially working for you. So the amount of Ethereum that you're going to get paid every single day starts to go up from there. Now, let's talk logistically how it works. There is a $99 setup fee. So if you want to set up your mining contract, it's $199 for every contract. And after the lease contracts are executed, the mining begins. It usually takes about 10 business days to set up. And about 10 days in, you start seeing those daily deposits that start happening. And the mining returns are paid out in Ethereum directly to your coin wallet. Once again, we may be mining other coin, but we chose Ethereum because Ethereum is one of the most stable coin, and it makes sense to pay out currency in a stable currency. Crypto's contracts are currently only available for purchase with Bitcoin and with Bankwire. Now, I want to give you an example of why I like mining so much. So if I were to go spend $5,000 today, and I wanted to go buy, let's just say Ethereum to make it easy, I'm going to take an average of what Ethereum's done over the last, say, 30 days or so. It's been hovering around $900. It's lower today. It's been higher than that as well. But $900 is about the average. And so if I took that average, I'd be at about 5.5 Ethereum coin that I would own if I spent $5,000. If I chose to get into one of our mining contracts and take that $5,000 and lease equipment that now produces the Ethereum that I'm getting paid daily, at the end of that period, I would end up with, based on today's hash rates, I would end up with 22 Ethereum. So the point is this: even if the value of Ethereum doesn't go up at all, if it doesn't change at all, I still win. I'm getting Ethereum based on, again, today's hash rates for about a third, not even a third, about a quarter of what I would have to pay if I went to the market to purchase it. That's why I like mining so much. And I'm going to share with you, and I don't do this all the time, but I'm going to share with you a little just strategy that I use to help you really understand how to capitalize on this. So we have something, we call it maximizing. And it's not automated yet. We're hoping to have this automated in the near future. But right now, you have to do it manually. But we call it the maximizing program. And so again, I want to just point this out. So let's say that you, again, spent $5,000. And you know that that would get you approximately 5.5 to, say, 6 Ethereum coin. Based on today's hash rates, if you mine it, you would end up with 22 coin. So number one, just right there, you're already tripling the amount of Ethereum that you would have if you went out and bought it. And that's if Ethereum prices stay the same as they are right now. But here's what's really cool. What happens is let's say that you spent $5,000 on mining equipment, and every time that your coin wallet hit a balance of $1,000, every single time you hit 1,000, you automatically purchased another $1,000 business contract. Well, over the period of the first year, based on the today's hash rates and the amount of money that we're seeing, amount of Ethereum we're seeing deposited into your coin wallet every day, you would have approximately the ability to buy 9 additional mining contracts in year one. Okay? Just based on the proceeds that came in from your initial mining contract. Now, what does that mean? It means that I have more equipment that's working for me. So what does that mean? It means that the amount of Ethereum that I'm receiving goes up. So if I decided that I wanted to repurchase again and take the money that I'm making from all of the equipment that I have in year 2 and just keep purchasing more mining equipment, well, the second year, I would have the ability to purchase approximately 26 additional mining contracts, okay? And by the third year, if I did the same thing, well, by the way, we call this compounding. Albert Einstein referred to compounding as the 8th wonder of the world. By the time the third year, by the time my initial mining contract is over, I would have 86 additional $1,000 mining contracts. If you do the math on this and you truly understand the power of compounding, you put yourself into an incredible position several years down the road. So for me personally, and again, you don't have to do this. Just to be clear, like somebody said to me last night, well, why would I do this if I'm not ever making any money? This is an asset. For me, this is a long-term asset that I'm looking at 3 to 5 years from now. I want to build this asset and put myself into a position 3 to 5 years from now where I can declare my financial freedom day, the day that you no longer have to trade time for dollars. You can do the things you want to do rather than the things that you have to do. But the money that's deposited into your coin wallet every day, that's your money. Like, that's your money. You can put it into your bank account every single day if you want to. But many of us see the power in compounding, which exponentially grows the results that you're getting. So this is one strategy that many of the people that are involved in our program use. So now back just to kind of wrap up the presentation here tonight. Let me get back to, I'm skinning the spinning wheel of death. So, oh, there we go. All right. So one other thing that we have is, we have a lot of people that right now, I want you to think about what's happening to the US dollar, the value of the US dollar, and many currencies around the world today. It's going way down, isn't it? In fact, the US dollar has lost more value over the course of the last 12 months than it has almost ever. So what does that mean? It means that if I have money sitting in a bank account, I'm actually losing money. For me personally, I can't figure out anywhere else that I can get the kind of returns that we're talking about here with mining in this short of period of time. Now, there's no guarantees, and yes, there's risk involved. There's risk involved in anything. But for me personally, I believe in calculated risks, and I believe in that this is a risk that's absolutely worth taking because I understand the cryptocurrency markets. Why? Because if you believe that cryptocurrency is going mainstream, that it's going to continue to go mainstream, I personally believe that in the future, not so distant future, we will have conversations with our children and their children where we say, do you remember when you used to carry the dollar bill around? Now, I want you to follow me on this. So if you believe that cryptocurrency is going more mainstream, which the evidence is there, that also means there's going to be more transactions, right? If there's more transactions, what does that mean for mining? It means that the demand for mining continues to increase because it has to validate those transactions. You see, I've made a lot of money in my lifetime following trends and getting to understanding where people are going and getting there faster. And to me, it makes logical sense that the demand for mining is going to go up. So I have a lot of friends right now that are saying, look, I'm going to take some money from here and I'm going to put it into mining because I see the opportunity. Now, would I put all of my money into cryptocurrency today? No, I personally wouldn't. If I had $100,000, would I go put $25,000 into cryptocurrency? Me personally, yes, I would, because of my confidence level and because of my strategy to put myself into a position within 3 to 5 years where I'm done. And that's my personal strategy. So the last thing I'm going to talk to you about is education. Regardless of whether or not you get involved in mining or not, what we do is we teach people, we educate people about cryptocurrency so that they are in a better position to go and capitalize on what's happening. And we have an educational program, $99 it is right now. Normally it's $150. It's discounted down to $99. And you get access to daily webinars. You get access to an all-star, some of the top crypto traders in the world that are doing live trading sessions every day, webinars that you can plug into. If you miss them, you can go back and watch them on demand. There's an entire library that you can start learning from, and you get access to that information. I've always felt that the best way to learn is from somebody that has the knowledge that I'm looking for. It helps me to avoid the pitfalls and trial and error that most people go through trying to figure it out on their own, right? So we have the daily webinars. We also have a trading bot that is getting ready to be introduced as part of this program. The trading bot's very simple. Again, remember, I like high-speed, low-drag systems. I don't personally have time to sit around and watch the markets all day and trade. I don't. We have trading bots that are programmed to recognize the peaks and valleys, and you can go in and set your risk tolerance, decide how much money you want to start with, and these trading bots have had a fantastic track record of performance, and they are all automated, so you're able to take advantage of that as well. We have account mirroring options that are getting ready to be introduced where you can literally go in and set up your account to mimic every trade that these experts are making. So whatever they do, your account does too. Well, they're experts. They're going to do a much better job than I can for sure. So these are just some of the benefits of our education side. And once again, we're talking about $99 per month. John McAfee, who wrote the McAfee software, says you can't stop crypto. It will be everywhere, and the world will have to readjust. And I agree with him. And I also agree that the key to success, again, is figuring out where people are going and trying to get there faster. And what's cool is we know where the world is going right now. There's no question that cryptocurrency is the future. Excuse me. There's no question that this is the hottest conversation out there today. For me personally, I want to share just real quickly one other wealth building strategy with you that I use. So if you go talk to any experts when it comes to building true wealth, here's what they're going to tell you. First of all, number one, you need to get yourself from a linear income situation. You need to get to a leveraged income situation. So linear income, what does that mean? It means that you're trading time for dollars. When you're at work, you get paid. When you're not at work, you don't get paid. Here's the problem with that. There's only so many hours in the day. So it's very difficult to get ahead. Leveraged is passive. It's residual income. It's regardless of whether it's mailbox money. Whether you go to work or not, you continue to get money month after month. So the idea is you've got to get some leverage working for you. So here's how you do it. Here's my wealth strategy. So my wealth strategy is to go out and acquire IPAs, income producing assets. Now this could be real estate. This could be MLM, network marketing. Network marketing is the fastest growing business model in the world today. In my opinion, it's the best way for the average person to get some leverage working for them. Why? Because you can still go to work full time to pay the bills, but in your part-time or spare time, you can work on building your fortune. Now, it used to be a home-based business. It's not even a home-based business anymore. If you got one of these and you're not making money on this with social media, then you're missing out, in my opinion, and probably the greatest opportunity that the world has ever seen to be able to put money into your pocket and start building your future. So MLM is one of my favorites. So I will always be involved in an MLM. Why? Because it creates cash flow. So what do you do with that cash flow? Well, for me, I'm putting it into mining. Why? Because this is another income producing asset and it allows me to be able to grow my cash flow and build an asset. I'm also compounding. Why? Because for me, I'm looking at a 3 to 5 year strategy. So it just makes sense to exponentially create a much bigger result. From there, what am I doing? Well, you know what? I like the idea of a trading bot that's getting fantastic results, that's doing the trades for me, and I don't have to, I just set it and I forget it. But I also like the idea of getting involved in ICOs, but I'm going to be very, very cautious here. And I'm going to make sure that the education that I'm a part of, our program, is being put to use because they're teaching me what to look for and how to evaluate these companies that are out there today. So what I'm doing is I'm building a well-diversified portfolio inside of cryptocurrency. That is my wealth building strategy. So for those of you that want to understand a little bit more about the business side of this, the network marketing side of this opportunity, here's what I'll tell you. Number one, timing is everything in business. Timing is everything. Don't ever let anybody else tell you that timing doesn't matter in network marketing or in business. There's a top and a bottom and a first and last to everything. And I've made a lot of money figuring out, again, just getting involved with companies in the beginning stages that have all of the signs of becoming one of the next giants in the industry. The windows of opportunity don't open very often. They don't stay open very long. But when they're open, incredible things can happen. So right now what's happening is we're getting ready to relaunch a 4-year-old company. So you get the best of both worlds. Relaunch a company that has already become the talk of the network marketing industry. Some of the most prolific network marketers in the world are involved with this. Just last week, we did a press release letting people know of the new name. Yet we've been working on this for the last 6 months, and we are just about to flip the switch, and everything changes over to Kuvera. We are the only publicly traded company in the United States, perhaps even in the world, that offers cryptocurrency mining. I know we're the only publicly traded company in the world that deposits directly into your coin wallet. We're one of the only companies in the world that's not pulling funds, and we're one of the only companies in the world that can actually prove that we are mining. So if you understand how hot cryptocurrency is, if you truly understand that, and you understand that there's so many people that are in this space that want to get involved in a safe, legal, and ethical place to come and play, then you understand the opportunity that each and every one of us has. And so some of you are looking at this saying, look, I don't know if I'm ready to get involved in mining yet, but I'd love to start learning a little bit more. Great. The education is Crypto One is for you. 99 bucks, you get set up, you can start learning from some of the experts. For those of you that are saying, look, it makes sense to me. I mean, even a $500 mining contract at bare minimum, it makes sense. Some of you might want to get started at a little bit higher levels. So you want to put your money to work for you, we can help you get set up on a mining contract. Now, for those of you that are looking to lock arms with us and actually create cash flow, go launch a business here with Kuvera and participate in one of the greatest runs, I'm telling you guys, that this industry is going to see in 2018 and beyond, we invite you to come lock arms with us. Now, if you're interested in learning a little bit more about what the compensation plan, the money looks like if you were one of our independent promoters, we have a 17-minute presentation that whoever invited you here can send you that will help you understand exactly the income opportunity that comes along with this. And what I will tell you is it is one of the most powerful compensation plans that I have ever seen. And there are reasons why. There's about 5 reasons why, and we outline those in that 17-minute presentation. And then, of course, from there, we would love to schedule a Zoom or a call with you to make sure that your questions are answered so that we can help you make a well-informed decision, whether or not education, mining, and or the business opportunity is right for you. So with that, I want to say thank you very much for sticking with me. This is a little bit longer than I normally do, but I wanted to give a good, thorough presentation tonight. So hopefully, excuse me, I'm getting all choked up. Hopefully you got some value out of tonight's presentation. And with that, let's go out, dream big. Let's go work hard. Let's go change some lives. Thank you guys so much for tuning in this evening, and we'll see you soon.